Hi, a viewer called Michael sent me this, and he also sent me these to have a look at, but I think we'll have a look at these in a different video. I think he was more bothered about getting this repaired, and what it is, it's a Superstrobe Professional timing light, and it's got an LED display on the back of it that isn't working, so let's get it out of the box. I feel it's very heavy, so I think we need to get it out of the box this way. Find the feel of things. Right, let's have a look at this then. Wow, this is some bit of kit. It reminds me of some kind of, I'll just zoom out a fraction there. Reminds me of some kind of, I don't know, science fiction space weapon or something. This, some laser gun. And it's metal as well. That's quite impressive, that. I like that. You just imagine going outside going pachung chung. Right, so looks like there's a knob missing off in the back, but this is the display that he said isn't working. So I think what I'll do, I'll couple it up with the bench power supply. Let's get this leads out and we'll get the box out of the way. Looks like this plugs into the bottom here. Let's get that bit out of the way as well. So it looks like we've got a little, induction clip or something possibly that goes around the spark plug lead. And these must be the wires that go to the battery. Nice, I'll get those coupled up with the bench power supply then. Right, I've got the bench power supply set to 13.8 and at about 300 milliamps. Right, let's see what we get. So pulling the trigger makes the LED swap from there to there. And the mode button appears to do something. That's about it. Nothing on the 7 segments. Right, let's just switch that off a second. Let's unplug this wire a sec and get that out of the way. Now, how does this come apart? Right, well, I can see 3 screws there. Actually, I think there's a screw missing there. So we've got one down here and one down here. So I'll remove those. There's something else under here. Right, got another couple of screws under there. So let's remove those as well. Right, let's see. That looks better. Right, let's zoom down a bit. Let's see what we've got in here then. I'll just find something to point with. So it looks like we've got a xenon flash tube there. So I guess there's a little high voltage circuit which will produce the voltage across the flash tube. And we should have a little trigger coil somewhere, which I think is this thing here. And looks like we've got 4 logic chips there. I can't quite see the numbers on those. Let's just try and zoom down a little bit. Yeah, 4013. That's that one there. 4066. I don't know if that's a counter or something, that one. 4017. I'm not sure what that is, but it looks like an op amp. And a 45. looks like 3.8, that I can't quite see. Yeah, I think it's 453, maybe 88, I'm not sure. Well, I think the problem's going to be round about here with this display, or it could be something to do with the power not getting to the display. Right, let's just get this display board out and we'll have a look. Looks like there's something on the back of it. Appears to be a microcontroller or something. What have we got here then? It is an AME 7107. I don't think I've seen one of those before. Right, let's unscrew these two screws and we'll just have a look at the circuit board just in case there's anything like water damage or a blown component or something on the other side of the board. I'll put this bit over here. And we've got another chip here, a 7404. I can't remember if that's an inverter. I can't see any blown components or anything on that. Can't see anything obvious up to now. Right, I think what I'll do is I'll connect the bench power supply back up and we'll see if we're getting 5 volts to this board, because that should be ground and that should be 5 volts there. So we'll see if we're getting power to this board first off. Right, I'll put this just down here for now. And we'll zoom out a fraction. I'll get the test meter. And I'll plug this lead back in the bottom of it. I might just angle this around a bit so it's easier to get into. I don't want to short this on this casing with this being metal, that is. And we'll go into a volts DC. I'll just switch the bench power supply on again. Right, so let's see if we get 5 volts to this IC here. Just press the button there. I was going to say no there for a moment. I was going to say, oh well, that was an easy one, but we've got 4.9 there. So we're getting 5 volts up to this board. Looks like somebody's perhaps soldered something there. I'll just zoom down a little bit. I mean, that looks like a power rail or something there with it being thicker. And let's just see what we'll get on this pin here. I'll just zoom out to get traction. 2.4. I'll see if I can find a data sheet on this chip and we'll see if we're getting the right voltages to it. Right, one moment please, I'll go and look up that number. Right, I've managed to find a data sheet for this chip and it's not a microcontroller, which is a bit surprising. I thought it would be a microcontroller. But what it is, it's an analog to digital converter and it's got a 3.5 digit display output. So this is actually the LED driver. So I'm just wondering whether this chip could be faulty. So anyway, pin 40, which is this pin here, is supply. And this pin here should be ground. So I'll switch the bench power supply back on. I'll just zoom out a fraction. And see if we get 5 volts to it. And we do. Right, now this takes another voltage as well. It takes a -5 volts, which is on pin 15. So 6 up from the bottom here. So if I go, just trying to get my meter leads untangled here. If I go on ground here, and there we go, -4.7. So we've got all the voltages correct there, but why haven't we got a display? The first 3 pins here, one of them where it looks like it's been desoldered, it's got oscillator 1, 2 and 3, and the 4th pin is marked test. So apparently if you pull test up to the supply voltage, it's supposed to light all the display up. So let's try that. Let's see if the test function works on this chip. Just trying to untangle my leads a second. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to swap my meter lead over to here, so that's basically shorten the leads together. And if I go on to this pin here, which is supply, and put it onto pin number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I still haven't got anything on the display. It's drawing a bit more current now, but when I did that, but it's not actually lighting the display up. I wonder if we're getting oscillation on these pins. I'll hook the scope up and let's see if we're getting any waveforms on these 3 pins here. But I'm starting to suspect this chip might have failed. Right, I'll go and sort the scope out. Right, I've got the scope hooked up. So the first pin here is OS1. And it indeed looks like we've got something on there. I'll just adjust the timing on the scope a little bit. Yeah, we've definitely got a waveform there. So let's try the next pin down, which should be OSC2. And yes, we've got a waveform there as well. And we've got one on OSC3 as well. Am I getting anything on any of the other pins, I wonder? Well, I don't know what to think now. We seem to be getting oscillation pins, we seem to be getting power supply, or both power supplies, but we're just not getting anything out of this chip. I know it's unrelated, I'm just wondering whether, let's just see what voltage we get on this copy. I'm just curious. Just check I haven't got my meter still on amps there. Let's just see what we've got on here. Yeah, we've got 433 volts I think on there. Which, if we go and measure across the tube here. Yeah, so that's the supply cap for the xenon tube, like I thought. I still don't know why we haven't got any display. Like I said, I'm beginning to suspect this chip. Right, so I'm just going to switch everything back off again. Just move this back over. Can I unplug this? Just going to unplug this a second. To one side a second. Let's have a look at this board again, see if we can see anything. case there's any dry joints or anything like that. It's the only other thing I could think. Unless these, I can't see, I would have thought, I couldn't see every single segment of this display failing. I wonder if I can get one of these segments off just to have a look underneath it. I'm just going to switch that scope off as well. I wonder if this chip's been changed before, because it looks like there's flux all the way on it. It looks like unless somebody's resoldered it, unless somebody's had a look at this before and came to the conclusion it was the chip as well and tried just resoldering it just in case. That's what it looks like. I mean, all those solder joints look okay. Looks like we've got a Zener diode there. We'll try checking some resistors. There's a couple of 100 ohm resistors there. Let's just try checking those. Just in case one of them has gone open circuit or something. I'll zoom out a fraction to get the meter in shot. Yeah, they're fine. Unless there's some kind of enable pin, possibly, that's not being enabled. But I would have thought the test function would just make it light up in any case. Just check that diode down here. Just going to diode check. Seems okay. I've got a transistor here. Seems okay. Just wonder if there's a short or something maybe. Let's just try those diodes at the top here. Just in case there's some kind of short somewhere. What's happened to the camera focus there? It just suddenly went a bit weird. That's a bit strange. I don't seem to be getting a reading on that diode. I am on that one, but not on that one. Let's just zoom down a bit. I mean, the diode looks okay, and it's very unusual for a diode to go open. I mean, when I've had diodes fail, they've always, you know, pretty much gone short circuit. Let's pull this diode out. Let's just pull that out, and we'll test it out of circuit just in case there's something in a capacitor or something causing any problems or whatever. Certainly when you measure components in circuit you get odd readings, but just want to add a bit fresh solder to this. Actually, I'll switch my iron on. Just use the solder sucker. use my tweezers under this. Let's just see if I can lift it out. Right. That's weird. Well, it's measuring okay now. So I was just wondering if there was something measuring it in circuit. That wasn't. Yeah, it's measuring okay now. Mightn't have been that then. Right, let's pop that back in then. And just straighten the legs back up. I'm just going to use a bit of solder wick just to clear these holes. Right. Let's just measure that again. What? What on earth's going on? I don't think I've had that before. Just going to ohms. Unless there's a capacitor across it or something. Well, that's very odd. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. I can't tell where that goes because it seems to go under the chip. Oh yeah, that one measures fine, but this one doesn't. I want to take that diode out again. I'm not happy with that. Let's see where it is and see if I've got another one just to replace it, just to rule it out. That's bizarre, that. I mean, it could just be measuring something else in circuit, but I'd rather just rule it out just to be sure. Let's pull this out again. That'd probably measure perfectly. No. It didn't at first. I wonder if the bond wire inside of there is breaking down or something. And as I've heated it up with the soldering iron, it's made it reconnect. Because I did have something like this a while back with the, I think it was the T3A soldering iron that I repaired, and then 3 weeks later it stopped working. And I thought it was a dry joint on the diode, because what I did was, on the video, I heated the diode up, resoldered it, and then it worked fine. And it was like that for 3 weeks. And then 3 weeks later it stopped again, and I checked the diode and it was open circuit. So I replaced the diode and it's been fine ever since. So I'm thinking, I think it's measuring okay now. Let's just heat this up with the soldering iron. I'm just curious. Let's just heat it up with the soldering iron and see if anything changes. Let's just see if anything changes with heating that leg up. Yeah, look, open circuit. Yeah. Let's just touch the meter together. Yeah. Faulty diode. Well, that's a new one. Let's just see what this diode is. It is a 1N4001. So just a pretty standard diode, that. Right, I shall see if I've got one of those and we'll replace it. And then we'll see if it does anything after that. Right, one moment please. Right, well I've had a look around and I haven't actually got any 4001s. I would have thought I would have, because it's quite a common one. But I did find an old circuit board. I think it was off a petrol lawnmower. So, well, that's full of 1N4007s, which are just a higher voltage rating. So I've got this one here. So let's clean these holes out. I'm just going to put a bit of flux on that. Let's try the solder sucker. Right, let's solder that up. Right, I'm just going to snip off the excess legs here. I'll just give that a bit clean up with some IPA or isopropyl alcohol. Right, let's see what that measures now then. Yeah. Right, excellent. Right, let's get the rest of the gun now and let's see if we get anything on the display. Let's put that there for now. And we'll switch the bench power supply on. I'll just zoom out a fraction. Oh. Well, it's definitely doing something. Yeah, it's changing when I'm pressing my finger on the back of it there. Excellent, I think that might be it. Right, I'll just switch the bench power supply off for now. And we'll try and be assembling it. I'm not sure how I'm going to do a test on this because I don't think I've got anything that runs on petrol. Most of our stuff runs on diesel. I've got a log splitter which has got a petrol engine on it. So we'll maybe couple it up to that to see if we can test it, but I'm not sure how or what it will show. I'll probably have to wait for the morning to do that because it's pitch black outside at the moment. And I'll probably have to use an external power source as well because the log splitter doesn't actually have any, it's just a hand pull one. It doesn't actually have a starter motor or anything, so it doesn't have a battery on it. Right, why is that not going in there? Let's catch it on the chip. It goes quite together properly, I think that's why. Right, let's unplug the lead for now. Let's pop the cover back on. I really like this. It's an unusual bit of kit, and I've seen strobe guns before, but nothing as substantial as this. I mean, proper bit of kit, this. Well, it makes a change of diode instead of a capacitor, because the last few repairs I've had, it's always been a capacitor. And I know people in the comments say, you know, it's always a capacitor. Well, this time it's not. This time it's a diode. Right, so let's put this bit back on. I'll just plug the lead back in the bottom again. Let's just check that it still works. I don't know what this thing does, but I don't know what 0 to 16 volt does. Or at least it might be to show the RPM by the look of it. Right, I'll hook this up to the log splitter and we'll see if it works. Well, yeah, it definitely seems to be that diode. I'm just curious to see if it's fixed itself again after it's cooled down. And that would be a no. Or has it? Yeah, definitely intermittent. That's what I think's happened. I think the bond wire or something's broke away inside. Right, let's get this tested then.
The next day.
Right, it's the following day, and I still think this looks like a laser gun. I mean, imagine just, you know, pointing it over here and just pressing the trigger and... Oops. I've got the gun connected to one of my booster packs. So let's clip this onto the earth of the engine and we'll put this on the spark plug lead. We'll turn the booster pack on. Alright, so I've got the display up. Let's fire the engine up. Well, the RPM counter seems to be working. Excellent. Right, I think we'll call this one a fix then. I still think it looks like a space gun. Right then, if you enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, please subscribe. Any comments or questions, please leave it in the comment section below. And as always, have a great day. Thanks for watching.